It is no secret the state in which Call of Duty is in. Across the main game and Warzone, of course, we've talked about the string of issues, but especially being the increasing amount of cheaters that are just ruining the game, and the state of which the game is in being completely unacceptable by a lot of mainstream streamers out there. And now the game is being called out by non-Call of Duty streamers, a couple from the Fortnite scene. Of course, we await Black Ops 7 and what is set for that game. It should be exciting as we are now back in the Call of Duty cycle of not even looking at the current game, but looking forward to what is next and hopefully better and improved. It is Ninja and Courage, a couple Fortnite guys going off on Call of Duty. And if you know Ninja, you know he is no stranger to ranting about this game. Here is what he had to say.
I just got to take this opportunity to shit on COD. Bro, I just have to. Dude, chat, and players that play Call of Duty, I truly need you guys to just know how scammed you guys are getting. You're just getting scammed. COD's late to everything. They're late to everything. In terms of like their updates, the things they add to their game, like they're just late. They're late to everything, bro. Here we are for the 1,000th time in Fortnite, it feels like, where they've just added a mechanic that just changes the game entirely. And meanwhile, COD is you're just playing the same game. Run and gun, get one gulag, and then stuff armor and slide cancel. Like, here we have another season where they've added mobility that has just completely changed the game. And then they've added something they've never been added again. Slow-mo. A slow motion gun that only slow-mos you. And slows down time around you and no one else.
It is so elite.
Hey, but God, they added balloons for rotating. Halo was amazing. Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, even Halo Reach. All incredible, phenomenal games. And each game had, what, 3 to 4 years before the next one came out? Right? And now, obviously, it's a former, it's a shell of its former self, for sure, in every way, shape, and form. I don't think the reason it's a shell of its former self is because of the 3-year delay between each new game, right? I truly just think that 343 Industries just continue to go down the wrong path and just make the game what it isn't, right? And Call of Duty basically feels like it pumps out the same game every year because it has multiple studios working on the next game.
Yeah.
So, like, my question is, I guess, or like my thought process is like, is Call of Duty is the reason that Call of Duty is like so relevant all the time is because it's always out every year with a quote unquote new game, or is that also what is eventually going to kill it because like that it just never actually changes and it's just like, you know what I mean?
I think.
And I know Ninja complains a lot about Call of Duty while also being like a, Fortnite's their game, and it makes sense. Everyone has their own lane and their own reason to be, shilling their own game, okay? Whether you think Call of Duty is better or Fortnite is better, that is up to you guys. But there are some honest truths in what he was saying, and I like the Halo comparison. The fact that Halo gives a few years, actually probably way too many years to the game's development, and I know that the Halo games are nowhere near as popular or profitable as the latest Call of Duties have been. I know it's not the perfect example, but in the vein of, hey, they take multiple years to get a new product out, and the most recent ones have not been doing that well, but we hope eventually Halo Studios will spend a good amount of time to give us a great game, but you'll never get that with Call of Duty because each and every year they have to pump one out. So what do you guys think about Ninja's side of things? But I really was intrigued by what Courage had to say. And again, I know Fortnite is his main game. That's what he's going to have the best things to say about. But I did really particularly like what he had to say about the COD dev cycle and the competition between these studios, which has always confused me. How many people have hands on Call of Duty? And what Courage says, it feels like they're competing against each other to be the best Call of Duty studio. But every year it feels like we're restarting from level 1. And a COD is developed throughout the year, but by the time that Call of Duty title finally gets published and polished, well, it's on to the next one, which sucks.
I think the greater issue is that it's instead of it being a cohesive development effort between the studios, there's always been a feeling of competition, of they want to be marked as the best Call of Duty studio. So instead of each year feeling like it's supplemental and additional building on top of the already existing building block, Call of Duty each year feels like it resets to level 1, and then by the time the game gets polished in Q3 of the next year, the developers are already being pulled off and the cycle's already resetting, So, oh my God, you just get another 100 gifted.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it's
Wow.
a 50.
50 gifted comes through. Holy Zerk. So instead of everything being additive, where Fortnite just feels like over the years it continues to be additive, and even if something isn't hitting that well, for example, the parkour and the rolling this season, they realized, all right, you know what? The wall bouncing and this and that hasn't worked. They've just removed it. And they've just done things to make it additive over the years, where like a positive addition to Fortnite 4 years ago is still being felt today. Whereas a positive addition 4 years ago in Call of Duty has had to be re-added every year. It's such a toxic cycle. If you think about it, every year in Call of Duty, season 1.5 of the game or season 1, what do they re-add? Oh, gun game's been re-added again because it wasn't there at the start of the game. Oh, another zombies thing has been re-added. Oh, another rank play finally gets added because, you know, and the rank iteration might not be, you know, it's always just adding things that get taken away, and then it's a marketing tool to be added back in, whereas instead in Fortnite it's only being added onto. I have things that I bought 8 years ago in Fortnite that I still can rock and use. Warzone 1 to Warzone 2, oh no, they got rid of all those things. You know, they can't stop the bloat in their game of the loot pool and the weaponry because they sell bundles instead of assault rifle and SMG and shotgun skins, because they want to min-max the amount of money they can sell for individual bundles versus overall weapon wraps. So in Fortnite, they can straight up vault weapons because you own the wrap for the entire class of the assault rifle, whereas in Call of Duty, they can't vault the M4. Because they sell individual bundles for the M4. It just gets me so tilted, bro. So they can't have certain guns be out of the meta and this and that, and then because of the weapon leveling system, they have to keep the weapon meta the same for a certain amount of months. So Billy on his 80-inch TV has time to catch up and then get the max level weapon. And yet I can't talk about Call of Duty, Tyler. Fuck you. Cue the game.
So I do think there was a lot of good points they did make, but I also think a lot of Call of Duty fans are going to be like, well, of course you're praising Fortnite because that's been your main game for years now. And although it is a great and innovative game in the industry, you know, everyone's going to stay and kind of stick to their guns of their game. We've noticed that with streamers. You stream a game, you blow up with that game, you stay with that game. It's not often you see streamers deviate from that, but that doesn't take away from what they are saying about this never-ending Call of Duty cycle. So what do you guys think about Courage and Ninja and their state and their little rant on Call of Duty and the state of that game? But either way, I'm sure a lot of people are going to buy Black Ops 7. I think the main thing for me is if you're making as much money as Call of Duty is, and even Courage goes in on the bundles and the min-maxing they're doing with making as much money as possible, when you're making that much money, I think people want to see you put that money back into the game to make it a better product. And that's why the state of the game should never be the way it is now with hackers and cheaters and server issues. You know? Till next time, what do you guys think? Please take care of yourselves. I'll catch you back here soon. Bye-bye.